the use of the internet facilitates the work of journalists. And journalists can actually gain a lot in using the internet in relation to their work. But then in terms of access to information, like we said yesterday, we are now beginning to see a lot of issues that are not very much associated with journalism, or that are violating the principles and ethics of the profession in relation to the stories that they are putting up on the internet. Like yesterday we talked about clickbait but journalism, and we were saying that this is not sensationalism. This is completely different. These are fake stories that are being put by people that you might even question whether they are journalists or not. And it is eroding a lot of things from the journalistic perspective, because it is now creating doubt in relation to the stories that are being put on the internet. In terms of digital awareness, I am saying we are just building up. And most of the journalists lack the required skills. Now, in terms of security, I will say we are way behind, because we don't even know how to protect simple documents. Some journalists don't even know up till now how to save simple documents. You know, if you say you are an investigative journalist, or you are and you have some sensitive documents, and you go to a cyber cafe to send your editor, or to send to your editor an article or a news item, then I wonder whether you have any knowledge of security or any knowledge of cyber security. There is still a lot to be done in this area, and I think this is one area that the International Federation of Journalists will want to take up, especially in Africa, to train journalists more on this issue of safety, most especially on the internet. The internet gives journalists a new dimension for the news, because it helps in the sense that we can now come up with news that we cannot even publish whilst we are in the country. The internet gives us access to expose corruption, to expose human rights violation, unlike never before in the history of the media. So it's a very essential tool, but we must not abuse it. We must not abuse it, because if you look at the trend now, governments in Africa are legislating more severe laws in relation to the use of the internet than even the conventional media. So we should still, as journalists, we should still utilize the internet as a very creative tool, as a very essential tool in our work, and then to get the best out of it. African governments have a problem, especially those governments that want to stay longer than necessary in power. Because if you look at this space, freedom of expression space in general, you'll come to realize that it is the repressive states, especially states that cannot be considered as democratic, because you have presidents staying for more than 2 terms, you have presidents vying for a 5th term, and so on. Now, these are all repressive states, and the media or the use of the internet, this is where they struggle much, because governments will always want to pass legislations that prohibits the freedom of expression, both in regard to the press and the internet. Now, because they are afraid, absolutely, because they don't want to be exposed. These governments have skeletons in their cupboard. They violate human rights. They are corrupt, because I don't see the essence. Africa, which is inherent problems, I don't see how you can stay in power for more than five terms, and you still want to contest the next election. These are very critical issues that we must look at, and this is why they are coming up with legislations that violate all those principles. But then I think together, both journalists, media activists, internet activists, all of us who are working in relation to the defense of human rights and the freedom of expression, we must work together to be able to lobby. There are some people who are very sensitive in government. They don't like what is going on. So we should be able to reach out to these people, to lobby them, and then to make sure that laws that are passed are in line with internationally recognized standards, are in line to what guarantees the freedom of expression of the general citizenry.